people, I want to just, before I start, somebody asked me the other day about why the hell, what's the name of that happy pill? What's the deal with that? And I explained, I stopped the class, and I know some people left early, but I explained what that happy pill is that during the course of me being here for so many years, like I realized, like Renzo knows it also, is that BJJ somehow for many people is their happy pill that day. Like they have all kinds of anxiety and issues and emotional and depression, and COVID heightened that. And during COVID, I probably had like 50 people come to me because we were drilling and doing all these things, and about 50 people at least have come to me and go, dude, without BJJ during this time, I don't know what I would have done. And I've also, and during this process, I've encountered two young men, that attempted multiple times to commit suicide. And then in the course, they found BJJ, young men, 14, 15 years old, found BJJ, and then somehow that life changed for them and gave them a purpose. And they tell me these stories, and I'm like, wow. And then in the course of it, their families have set them up where they can go to school, university, very close to a BJJ academy, where their whole life revolves around BJJ, but then they do everything else. And it's their happy pill. And then last week, there was a gentleman that overdosed on fentanyl. He's my student. If you've been to the open mat, many of you rolled with him. He overdosed on fentanyl. He had an accident during COVID where he lost some of his toes and started taking these painkillers. And there's a pandemic going around all throughout America with these opiates. And he started taking these, and he couldn't do BJJ. And I asked my friend after what happened last week, I was shocked because you would not know this gentleman was doing any of that stuff. And he said to me, I said to him, did you suspect anything? He goes, yeah, I kind of did. Like he was telling me he couldn't do BJJ, and because he couldn't do BJJ, you know, things spiraled out of control, the addiction and all this stuff, and he overdosed on fentanyl. During this time, in the last 5 years, three different young men have overdosed on fentanyl from this academy. He's the third one. Okay, I told you eventually, and all of them had one common denominator. It was like, man, I couldn't do BJJ, man. That was the one thing that kept me going emotionally. And so I tell that story. It's like, so that's what the happy pill about. Now I'm gonna attach what the happy pill about and why I teach a certain way. Not only for you guys, but I'm gonna keep teaching this way, that if you miss my classes, you can understand the storylines. So you're not just coming in and going, why is he doing this? Like you can understand this bigger picture. So if you miss class, you can go in there, look at it, watch it, and go, all right, I know where this guy's going with this, what the storylines, how we can answer. You don't know what I'm going to teach that day, but it'll all attach some way. So I'm going to continue to teach in those patterns. And then if you can't make class, you can watch it. It's free. There's no charge. Okay, there's nobody's trying to sell you a DVD, none of that stuff. Okay, you can just go on, watch it. So that's the reason of why it's called the happy pill, because for many it is. And that's why I teach in a certain way. Okay, not just for you guys, but I'm going to continue teaching it. So let's get started. Now, I